You are listening to How to Get Over Your Ex, episode number 334, the remedy for every stage of heartbreak. Welcome to How to Get Over Your Ex, a podcast on getting over your ex without it just taking time. I'm your host, Breakup Coach Dorothy. Let's turn your pain into power and your heartbreak into happy. Hello, beautiful brave hearts. Welcome back. I am so grateful to have you here. This week, we are talking about the 3 remedies for the 4 stages of heartbreak. So if you missed last week's episode, it may be helpful to listen to that episode first. That's where I do a deep dive on each stage of the 4 stages of heartbreak to help you understand what stage in heartbreak am I in. So you'll be able to self-diagnose exactly the stage that you're in. And then this week, in this episode, I'm going over the solutions, or AK, also known as the remedy for each stage of heartbreak. So this will tell you exactly what you need to do to elevate yourself into the next stage. So as a reminder, here are the 4 stages of heartbreak. Stage 1, devastated. I can't breathe without them. This is where you're completely consumed and just completely debilitated by your emotional experience. Your nervous system is in fight or flight. You're struggling to eat, sleep, or focus. Everything is triggering you. You're not trying to get over your ex in this stage. You are literally just trying to survive the day, and that is okay. Now, stage 2, this is the high functioning avoidant, okay? This is where you look fine from the outside, but you are not truly free from the breakup from your ex. You're functioning, but perhaps you're thinking about your ex daily. You check their social media. You're avoiding places that remind you of them. Your dates are falling flat. You might even define yourself as someone who's over your ex, but you're not actually free from them. You're truly just performing, I'm over it, but you're still not free from that person mentally because you're avoiding anything that triggers you. You still have triggers, okay? Stage 3, you are free from your ex. This is not the final stage, but this is the second to last stage of heartbreak. And this is where you are truly over them, but you're not letting yourself live your most authentic self out of a protective mechanism because you don't want to get hurt again. You no longer have to avoid triggers. You do feel neutral and indifferent to your ex. There's no emotional charge there, which is so great. But that spark, that aliveness hasn't fully landed, and you're still kind of protecting yourself in the name of being like realistic and potentially not even going after the things that you deeply desire, like partnership and connection and love and romance, because you're afraid to get hurt again. Stage 4, the very final stage of heartbreak, is your bigger and better life stage. This is where you've built what you thought you needed your ex for. Your ex, again, very neutral. There's no emotional charge there, but you are literally living proof that your breakup was the catalyst to everything that you ever deeply desired in your life. You've built something undeniable in a way that you're obsessed with it. Your life is so delicious. You feel like you woke up and you won the lottery in every area of your life. And the biggest part here is you're not afraid to lose it. So, which stage are you in? And then on a scale from 1 to 10, how committed are you to progressing into the next stage? So let me introduce today the remedies for each individual stage of heartbreak. So remedy number 1, this is for you if you are in that devastated stage, working towards moving into the high functioning avoidance stage. This is where your nervous system, remember, is just frazzled. It's fried. You are literally living in what I call breakup brain. It's that fight or flight brain where you're emotional. You have no control over your emotions. They are just completely running the show. You're debilitated and emotionally consumed by your emotional experience. So the remedy for this stage to get into the high functioning avoidance stage is something called biology baseline, okay? We cannot do anything else. You will not be able to implement any other breakup tool or strategy when you have a fried nervous system. Until we regulate your nervous system, nothing else is going to work. So if you've been trying to journal, you've been trying to tell yourself this is happening for me and not to me, you've been trying to do the right things, but your nervous system's a disaster, none of it's going to stick, none of it's going to work. So literally, we have to get your biology in baseline right now for anything else to stick. And here's what I mean by a biology baseline. So your body needs kind of 5 things to get out of survival mode and into a state where healing is even possible. The first thing is nourishing, right? Eating something, even if it's small, even if you're not hungry, your body needs fuel, and not just any kind of fuel, right? It needs the right fuel, healthy foods, farm foods, safe foods that make you feel cared for. We need to second hydrate. You need to be drinking water. Dehydration makes anxiety so much worse. Our bodies are literally made of water. The currents in our brain will not operate at their highest potential if you're not hydrated. Third, sleep. Honestly, I probably put sleep before nourishment. This is in no specific order, but for me, sleep and hydration are key. We've got to prioritize rest, even if it's hard. Sleep is when your nervous system repairs itself. If you're not sleeping, you're probably not making the best decisions for yourself. And there's so much science out there that backs good sleep. So I'm not going to spend forever on this, but my brain is a disaster if I'm not getting good quality sleep. The fourth thing is movement, walking, stretching, dancing, your body in any way that feels good. Movement processes emotion. It can transmute your emotions so that if you're, when I always say your emotion is just energy in motion. So if your body is staying stagnant, of course, the energy in motion is just stuck in your body. You've got to move. You got to jump, scream, run, sprint, jumping jacks, walk, move your body. We've got to breathe. Deep breaths, slow breaths, focusing more on your exhales than your inhales. And when you inhale, your brain actually holds in on thought. Your brain holds on to thought when we inhale. When you exhale, it releases thoughts. This tells your nervous system it's safe. So remedy number 1 to move from devastated to high functioning avoidant, it's not about affirmations or vision boards or focusing on yourself or journaling your feelings. It's none of that. You need to get your nervous system out of survival mode first. Protect your peace. That is the foundation. And without it, nothing else will stick. So inside of our Get Over Your Ex program, you learn your stage-specific protocol for biology baseline. How do you do this based on your individualized breakup experience? So we create a biology baseline protocol that's specific to your breakup brain because each of you have different breakup brains. But today, I just want you to know biology first. Check in with your sleep, your movement, your nourishment, your hydration, and your breath. Pick one and focus on it all week. Biology first, biology first, biology first. Okay. If you're in your devastated stage, stop trying to get over your ex and we're not focused on getting over that person or reducing desire attachment or building your bigger and better life. We just want to get your body regulated. Biology baseline first. Okay. Remedy number 2. So this is for those of you who are no longer in your devastated stage, but you're in your high functioning avoidance stage. Remember, devastated means that your emotions are completely debilitating the majority of the time. You can be in your high functioning avoidant era or stage, and you're might be triggered by something, and then therefore your emotions take the high road. That's not what I'm talking about. You don't have to go all the way back to your devastated era. Sometimes you do implement biology baseline. So if you're a mom and you have a whole week where your kid is sick and you're not getting any sleep, or less sleep than what you're used to, because I'm sitting here, I said that I haven't had a full night's sleep in 365 days. So sometimes that happens, but then from whatever you're used to, right, then you would want to go back to biology baseline, touch base with that, and still come back here. Okay. So this era or this stage, you're high functioning avoidant, remember that you're kind of performing I'm over it, but you're not truly free. You can get through the day. You look fine on the outside, but inside you're still having fake arguments with them in your head. You're still checking their social media. You're still hoping they'll text. You're still maybe even thinking about them every day. And the real problem is the fact that you're kind of managing behavior, but you're not managing the actual longing or wanting that you still have for your ex. So the second remedy for those of you moving out of the high functioning avoidance stage into the free from your ex stage is reducing desire, attachment, and longing for your ex. Learning how to not want your ex back. It's not about going no contact. It's about not wanting the contact. So here's what this looks like. When you think about your ex, you don't get the urge to text them, okay? You could think about them, but there's no tightness in your chest, no knot in your stomach, no impulse to reach out. When you see them at a party, there's no emotional charge. You're just neutral. You can say hi, you have a polite conversation, you walk away without feeling anything. When you hear their name, there's no emotional reaction, there's no anger, there's no sadness or longing or injustice. It's just nothing. And when you walk into the boba tea shop that you used to go to together, you don't even think about them. You order your drink, you sit your happy butt down, you enjoy it, and your ex just doesn't even cross your mind. To me, that is true freedom from your ex. That's what it means to be over an ex. Now, here's what most people get wrong. They think that this happens through avoidance, right? They think if they just block their ex or delete their number, if we avoid the places that we used to go to, eventually they'll stop wanting them. But that's not how it works. It's crazy. Did you guys know this? Avoidance can actually create more desire because what you resist persists. Isn't that kind of crazy? It reminds me of food. When we tell ourselves we can't have something, there's actually going to be a lot more food noise in your brain and more desire for that thing. Instead of just out saying, I can have that, we're afraid to admit that we could have that because we think we'll just eat all of it. But in reality, when we allow ourselves to say, I can totally eat that, and I'm choosing not to, it's very different. It's a different experience. So the remedy is not avoidance or going no contact. The remedy is systematically reducing the desire itself. We want to reduce the desire for that thing itself. And I think that we forget that that is actually something we have control over. We are in charge of reducing desire, longing, and attachment. We are the ones that decide if we want our ex. And it feels like it's outside of our control. But I've done this with my ex. I've done this with ice cream. I've helped so many people reduce desire and attachment to so many things. I remember I regularly wanted to reduce desire for, and actually I sometimes increase my desire for ice cream based on my long-term goals. So when I talk about ice cream as if it's my favorite food, right? And I say it's ooey gooey, the caramel, it melts in my mouth, it's delicious. We both build a strong desire for ice cream. However, I can say an equally true statement that ice cream is simply sugar and milk. Ew, right? Both of those statements are true, but one increases desire while the other one decreases desire. When we see sugar and milk, just a cup of sugar and a cup of milk being mixed together, we're like, blech. And we can do the exact same thing for your ex. Not in a way where it's like making your ex out into this bad person, but the way that we think about your ex determines how much you want your ex. Change the thinking and we change the wanting, which is the root to all of your breakup symptoms. Now, that's what we do inside of the Get Over Your Ex program. I have a methodology that I've been teaching for 10 plus years and perfecting with my clients. So today, I want you to just recognize that the remedy, if I'm trying to move from high functioning avoidant into totally free from my ex, I've got to focus on reducing desire and attachment and longing for that person. Not just distracting myself, not just going no contact, not giving myself more space or time. It's creating true detachment, true indifference, and true freedom. Okay. So remedy for stage 3, right, is we've got to become more interesting than our past. So if you're in stage 3, where you're free from your ex, you've got no emotional charge, you genuinely don't desire your ex, you're not attached to them anymore, and you have no longing for them, what we really need to work on is being lit up by your life. Okay, so if you're rarely thinking about your ex, but dating feels kind of like, and life is stable, but it feels like it's flat, or the spark, your like giddiness, your aliveness hasn't fully landed in your reality, most likely there's still what I would call an invisible ceiling of protection that is keeping you playing smaller than you actually are. And it's keeping you not only from going after what you want, but believing that it's available and not being afraid of getting it because you're afraid of losing it. Okay. So the remedy for stage 3 is truly learning how to become more interesting than your past. And here's what I mean by this. Life is no longer about your ex anymore. Your bigger and your better life is about you. You have main character energy. The movie is about you, and you're writing this script. You're so obsessed with your own life that you go after the things that are bigger and better because you want to. And it's not to like prove anything to anyone. It's for you, but you're not terrified of having it because you're not terrified of losing it. And what does this look like, right? You wake up excited about your day. You're building something, a career, a business, a family, a body, a home that lights you up. Maybe it's even a marriage, right? And you feel like you won the lottery in every area of your life. And your ex becomes irrelevant because your life is so interesting that thinking about them feels kind of boring. Now, the way that we do that is that I think it's important to shift 3 very specific mindsets. And making this shift really transitions you from stage 3 to stage 4. And I want to talk about those 3 mindsets. The first one is going from what's realistic to what's possible, right? Perhaps you're playing it safe, choosing what's reasonable and realistic over what's exciting. But your breakup already blew up what was realistic, and now you get to redefine what's possible. And I want you to stop asking yourself, is this realistic? And I want you to start asking, is this possible? The dream job, the city you've always wanted, the body, the lifestyle, the relationship that actually lights you up. And once you're free from your ex, the only thing holding you back is your own belief about what you're allowed to have. The second shift is going from I need to be ready to I'll begin before I'm ready. And I see this with dating all of the time. All of you are waiting to feel more confident or more healed before you start dating, when in reality, all you deeply desire is a partner. And you will never arrive at a place where you are fully healed. Some healing can only happen in partnership. So you will never feel ready, and that's not a problem. The women who are building those bigger and better lives, they start messy, they start scared, they start before they have it all figured out. And you don't get confident and then do the thing. You do the thing that then builds the confidence. Start before you're ready and let readiness catch up. The third shift you have to make is going from what will people think to what makes me come alive. You're still making decisions based on what other people will think. What will my family think, my friends, my ex? But the truth is that the people who matter won't judge you, and the people who judge you don't matter. Your bigger and better life isn't about impressing anyone. It's about doing what makes you come alive. When you stop asking what will people think and you start asking what makes me come alive, so much becomes clearer. Everything changes. And that is when you move from stage 3 to stage 4. Is when you implement these 3 mindsets. Not more dating apps or hoping someone better comes along, not more travel trying to find yourself, not more waiting to feel more confident before you go after what you want. So if you're in stage 3, your remedy is to ask yourself, what's possible? What would I do if I started before I was ready? What makes me come alive? And then go do that. And inside of the Get Over Your Ex program, I teach you how to turn on these mindsets, turn up the dial, the volume on them in an effortless way, a way that is This is just how I operate in the world. So in stage 3, you don't need more healing or more processing or more therapy about your ex. That's complete. You need to just go after it. You need to do the work that requires you to light up your own life and make a present and a future that is so much more interesting than your past. Okay, so let's recap what we just covered. Stage 1, when you're in your devastated stage, the remedy you need to implement is biology baseline. Everything else comes after that. Stage 2, you're high functioning avoidant. You need to implement reducing desire, longing, and attachment. So stop managing the behavior and start reducing the actual wanting. True freedom from your ex means not wanting contact, not just avoiding it. Stage 3, when you're truly free from your ex, the remedy has become more interesting than your past. So stop playing it safe. Ask yourself what's possible. What would I do if I started before I was ready, and what makes me come alive? And then go do that thing. And stage 4 is your bigger and better life stage, and you're here. You've built what you thought you needed your ex for, and just keep going. I'm so excited for you. So now you have the 4 stages of heartbreak, the 3 remedies to elevate you based on which stage you're in. Next week, I'm going to bring on Lauren, and she is going to share her journey where she got over a 22-year-long marriage in 6 weeks. What? That's crazy. A 22-year-long marriage in 6 weeks where her ex-husband left her very abruptly. She did not want the divorce, and she got over this in 6 weeks, utilizing each stage of heartbreak and its specific remedy. All right. Get to work this week exploring your remedy, or just join us inside of the Get Over Your Ex program if you're ready to have my eyes and ears on your breakup journey. We open enrollment June 1st at dorothyabjohnson.com/getoveryourex. I love you guys, and I will talk to you next week. If you're loving the How to Get Over Your Ex podcast and you want to learn how to get over your ex in 3 months or less to build a life better than the one you thought you had with your ex, I would like to personally invite you to my next group course where we take everything you've learned here on the podcast and apply it to your life. Come check it out at www.lifecoachdorothy.com.